After standing up and snagging on the Stax cable more than I'm willing to admit, I really just wanted to make it detachable. It would make the headphones so much easier to transport and even offer other cable options. So what I'm going to do today is come up with a solution with that. So what I've already ordered, and you may see them right here, is I've ordered the Mr Speakers, what he calls the DUM connectors. And let me zoom in on them here. And you may be familiar with them if you're into the high-end audio sort of thing. You may have seen the Mr Speakers DUM connectors before, and he used these on his electrostatic prototypes. They're not actually his connectors, they're just, they're called the Valuecon SN series connectors, and they're rated at about 500 volts, so I'm guessing it should be enough. We can hope, but you're going to come along with me and see how that goes. That's basically what we're doing. We're going to take this out, we're going to disassemble the whole headphone, take this out and replace it with this detachable jack right here. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, this quality, if you came from the review and you're thinking the quality of this video, it doesn't have the smooth pans and it's not a voiceover, it's just the built-in camera mic. Well, for one, normally if I'm doing a repair, it's not usually on this desk, so don't worry, I will be moving to a different desk. And two, I'm working on getting a better sort of setup so you can have top-down view and all sorts of different angles, and also get a different mic so I can record at the same time. Either way, let's begin. So I'm just going to go ahead, and the first thing that we're going to have to do is take the pads off of these. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take out all of these screws, and hopefully we don't damage anything. I got the Ziploc bag at the ready. We're going to take out this little pad here, which reveals even more that can get onto it. Lovely. And hopefully we don't destroy everything in the process. It looks like the driver, if you look right here, you can see the connector right here, and it looks like this will just come up with the driver. We can hope. There's the driver itself. Here is the actual cable, and it just connects to the driver, which has foam around it. It looks like some of it's soldered in and some of it is not. There seems to be plenty of room for a cable like I'm planning to do. So let's see, that's sort of like a washer. I'm sorry for getting so close to the camera mic, it probably sounds terrible. That looks pretty interesting. This is interesting. So it kind of goes on an angle like that, goes in. Does it go out? It goes out like that. I'm just fiddling with stuff to know how it all goes back together before I start delving any deeper. Okay. Okay, here we are. So I came down here just like I promised. Yes, I'm just using an envelope. I know, it's pretty janky. And here we are. So directly under this, it's a nice protective thing, but it's just a film directly underneath. And it's like, oh boy, I'm going to ruin something. So we're going to not get too into that right there. What we're going to do right here is we're going to try and get these out of the way as fast as possible, or at least one of them. We're going to work on each one individually, slowly, carefully. You know, if you need to stop, I'm going to stop, because this is delicate stuff. So what we're going to use is we're just going to cut off each of these wires. Now I have them documented, I've got pictures of them, and I've also got it written down right here. You can't see it. But what we're going to do is we're just going to cut each of yeah, can speak. We're going to cut each of these wires like so. There we go. And we're going to attach our connector onto each one of these. So let's go ahead, we're going to take each one out. So I believe what I just cut was the negative, the positive. I would use the inner edge of this, but actually what am I doing? There's a better tool for this. I have a better tool for this. Give me 1 moment. Mini cutters. And what I'm about to cut right here, which loops all under and whatnot, is the bias. The bias, how biased it is. And that gives me enough room that if I want to solder this back together at some point, I can. So now we're going to use this faceplate right here. We're going to have to make this a little bit bigger, just file it ever so slightly, maybe a little bit of a Dremel. And I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if we can get a good shot of this. I may have to switch to manual focus. Black. So we're basically going to have to put this plate right here and just make it a little bit larger, right at the bottom or the top. And that'll allow the circle connector right here to just fit right into place. It already fits into the plastic, it's big enough. There's quite enough room there. But we're going to need a little more room on this one right here because it's just ever so slightly too small. So we'll have to grind off a little bit in the center. So that's that. Let's go ahead and solder up the connectors first. I'm worried about the gauge of the wire because if you look at these connectors, let's take a little peek here. If you look at the connectors on these wires, if you look at the pins on this connector, you'll see that they're very small. There's my fingernail, for example. Wow, I need to cut my nails as usual. Very small. And these wires, whoop, excuse me, everything's going everywhere. Not quite as small. Either way. So let's begin, shall we? So what I'm going to do is we're going to start off, we're going to try and make these uniform. So I'm going to go by this right here. So we're going to go by that right there, and we're going to have the bias pin be right here, positive and negative. So that hopefully you can interchange these, swap sides even if you wanted to. Hopefully. That's what we're aiming for. Hopefully when we plug these back in they don't immediately explode. That's the old joke, eh? Not trying to put too much on, simply because, again, we're working with a very small hole. There. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get some of the heat shrink, and we're going to put that heat shrink right on there. Okay, so as you can see here, I've just dremeled out, dremeled out a little bit at the top and a little bit at the bottom, because it is sort of flat at the bottom and there's a little ridge at the top. So you just place this in like it would have been with the original cable, and then you place the lump at the bottom, sort of, and you just fit it right in. It sort of locks in a little bit. Not too great, but it locks in alright. And you're going to get something looking like that in the end, which looks great. Now we got to solder it. Let's try that. So we got the first wire on here. I don't know if you can see it. Plate's kind of in the way. We're just going for the second wire here. I've pre-tinned all the points. That should do it. Sorry, I just get really concentrated when I start doing this. This is why I don't really usually solder on camera. Mistakes can be made. I don't like that much. And again, little things can be made. I don't like it, it's just a little bit cold, that's all. And you didn't catch most of it, so I'll be back. So while you weren't looking, I finished up the soldering altogether, because it was kind of getting out of focus and out of camera here. I just changed out the wire to a slightly smaller gauge. It should hold the amperage, and as you can see, that looks quite nice in my opinion. And I also did the cable right here. So you just kind of find it, and it's a little finicky at the moment because I have to hold the driver and everything in place, but it won't be once it's together, and that's that. It doesn't go anywhere, and when you want to release it, you just pull it off, and there it goes. And your headphones are free. So I think that's excellent, personally. You gotta find there, and then push, and there you go. Alright, so let me reassemble it, and then we'll test it, and then we'll do the other side. Alright, we're on headphone number 2, just kidding. Alright, so we're on left side now, and I'm just going to mark down the connections just to make sure that I understand. Let's see here. So we've got, looks to be almost the same. White striped, yep, is the farthest, and center. Center, yeah. Looks like they just twist the cables for some reason on the other one. So let's go ahead and take these apart. see if, hopefully it's still in shot here. And we'll just use this hand here. I'm going to heat it up. A little jittery this morning. I don't know why. Don't want to heat it for too long because, well, there is a diaphragm in there at some point. And we don't want to melt anything. I've put the cover on this time because it's a lot easier than a napkin. But probably end up using the napkin again as well. Because I believe the other side of this will come copper. You can also unscrew the middle pin, but for some reason I refuse. That's infuriating. That's not coming off there. There we go. Whew. It's an interesting smell. It's not the typical soldery smell that I'm used to. It's kind of got a weird richness to it. Focal point was right here, I believe. So this is the part that's the most dangerous. Is here we go right here. Ready? Watch this. Most people are gonna cringe at this. Look what's on the other side. Think of all the dust in the air. Okay, sorry. There's really not that much dust in this room. That's another reason why I pick it, because there really isn't that much dust. Let me make sure you're still kind of in frame here. Nah. There we go. A little bit. Left hand, right hand? I don't know. Let's choose right hand. There we go. It's kind of, whoa, but whatever. Okay, hopefully we didn't get too much dust on there. Now, the driver is virtually free, but I don't like to, I like to use this. Listen to the noise I'm making. I like to use the built-in foam here and just try to protect it the best I can. Put this over top. No, we're not going to use that. I'm just going to use the built-in foam here. Looks like you could actually use it clean, this foam. Yeah, so now this should come out. Let's see here. Let's zoom out a little bit so you can get a general picture here. A little bit what's happening. Okay, so we need to get this out. There we go. And take that off. So that's not too bad. This is our little thing that you have to Dremel a little bit. Right like there. Just the top and the bottom to get it to fit. Now, if I remember, I have to remember the orientation of this plug. Because I want it to be symmetrical, so that if you mix up the right and the left, you'll just mix up the right and the left, and you can swap them for whatever reason. So, let's see here. I'm going to cut this. I need to know how much to cut it, so I want them to be equal too. So let's take a look here. Let's take a look. We've got about just a little over there, I'd say. Double checking is important. As I would do these, I would get a better system down. It's like I had a lot of requests for the GameCube HDMI modification, and at this point it's become just a conveyor belt. If anyone asks me how, like, oh, I'd like you to do the GameCube modification, it's just like step by step. I have the steps down in like a system that just works at this point. And anything like this, you know, you find out a way that you can get this down in just a system. of steps. Okay, so that's going to be right there. I need to figure out the pin orientation, so I'm going to go look at some pictures and I'll be right back. Alright, we're going to try to solder this on. Okay, I'm gonna measure, make sure that I did it right. Alright, so after quite a bit later, we've got our left and our right here. So this is the left speaker, you just sort of find it, and there it goes. If you want to disconnect it, you just pull it off, and then it's really not going anywhere. And for some reason, these connectors themselves are actually a little loose. I don't know why. It must just be a design thing that they did. But it doesn't seem to affect anything. I tested the other one upstairs. The other thing, though, left to do for this side is this panel. And now you're thinking, well, what could we possibly need to do with this panel? But the bolt sticks up a little bit, so you just have to cut out this little piece right here. Alright, so the last thing I gotta do is just put these pads back on. There's still some of the residue there, but I'm not too worried about it. There we are. So I got just regular, if you're thinking of doing this yourself, I just got regular Scotch double-sided tape, and I'm just going along, sort of measuring it out. Going to about, let's see, where does that one go? To the T. And just cutting it and getting it to size and all that, and sticking it down. And the boundaries of these ear pads themselves are not particularly large, so. So let's go ahead and connect them up here. Left here, there we go. Right. It just sort of snaps into place, and you can pull back on them to take them out. It's really easy. And yeah, I think it looks really good personally. I'll put some more shots close up right here. Let's go ahead and turn on the amp, and I'm just gonna pick any song. We'll press a 5 for a random thing. I don't even know what that song is. But as you can hear, working perfectly fine in both channels, even though this isn't a stereo camera, so you can't actually tell. There you go. I don't know what's playing right now. Either way, so there it is. I hope you found this somewhat useful. If you're interested in doing this, have the courage to do it. It's really not that hard. If you are interested in this but still don't have the courage to do it and really would like to have it done, I may be willing to do yours for you if you're willing to ship your Stax to me. I'll have a link in the description where you can fill out the little, you can email me and contact me, and I'll let you know whether I'd be willing to do it or not. Yeah. So that's it. Hope you found it interesting, and I'll see you next time.